Welcome to Next 8 Art. We share insights for gallery reps, collectors, and artists.
Exploring tech trends shaping the future of art.
Stay tuned, subscribe, and visit us online for more.
Yeah, art is always pushing boundaries.
And today, we're diving deep into a piece that really shook things up.
Maurizio Cattelan's comedian,
You remember that banana?
duct-taped to a wall.
Sold for $6.2 million.
That's the one.
Yeah, we're going there.
We're going to unpack why this, seemingly simple piece sparked so much debate.
Exploring how it connects to art history.
The power of networks.
Even the changing nature of value itself.
Is it really just a banana?
Buckle up.
Because this deep dive is about to get interesting.
So what's fascinating here is the buyer didn't actually get that specific banana.
Right. They received a certificate of authenticity, a set of instructions to recreate the piece.
So they paid over $6 million for a piece of paper that tells them how to tape a banana to a wall.
It's like buying the recipe, not the cake itself.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what we're actually valuing here. Is it the object or the idea behind it?
That's the heart of conceptual art.
Okay.
A movement that places emphasis on the idea behind the artwork.
Okay.
Rather than the physical object itself.
Mm-hmm.
You see this idea play out in other groundbreaking works throughout history.
I'm all ears.
Give me the greatest hits of conceptual art.
Let's start with Yves Klein,
Okay.
who back in the late 1950s was selling zones of immaterial pictorial sensibility.
Imagine trying to explain that to someone at an art fair.
Wait, so people were buying, like, nothing?
Air, empty space.
Yeah.
Essentially, yes. They were buying the concept, the certificate of ownership,
Right.
and the right to participate in a ritual with Klein where they would burn the certificate,
Wow.
symbolizing the intangible nature of the purchase.
Mm.
It was revolutionary
Yeah.
and challenged the very definition of what could be considered art.
So Klein set the stage for artists like Cattelan to push the boundaries even further.
Exactly.
Just like with those invisible zones, Comedian makes us question what we value in art
Right.
and where that value actually resides.
Mm.
But tell me, how does something like a urinal become art? I'm thinking of Marcel Duchamp's Fountain, which is considered a landmark piece of conceptual art.
Duchamp took an ordinary, mass-produced object, a urinal, and placed it in a gallery setting.
Okay.
By doing so, he was challenging traditional notions of art and questioning the role of the artist as creator.
Mm.
He was saying, it's not about the object itself, but about the context, the intention, and the choice that make it art.
So it's almost like the artist acts as a curator,
Right.
selecting and reframing an object to elevate it to the status of art.
Exactly.
Does that mean that skill and craftsmanship become less important in conceptual art?
I think skill matters.
Okay.
But in conceptual art, the focus shifts to the execution of the idea, the thought process, and the commentary the artist is making.
Okay.
The craft might be in the conception and presentation, not necessarily in the traditional sense of painting or sculpting.
Okay.
Take Piero Manzoni, for example. He canned his own excrement and called it art.
Hold up. Canned poop. You're kidding, right?
Not at all. It was a bold, even shocking critique of the art market.
Okay.
He was essentially saying that anything, even something as worthless as excrement, could be commodified and sold for a high price if presented as art. And guess what? He was proven right.
So he made bank on this.
Those cans now sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow. So Manzoni was making a statement about the absurdity of the art market
Yes.
and its tendency to assign value to almost anything, kind of like Cattelan's banana,
Well,
right?
very much so, yes.
It makes you wonder, does the art world create these inflated values,
Right.
or is it just reflecting the values we already have?
That's a question that's been debated for centuries. Let's look at Andy Warhol, who blurred the lines between art and consumerism with his Brillo boxes. They look exactly like the cardboard boxes you'd find in a supermarket. But displayed in a gallery, they become high-priced art.
It's like he took something ordinary, something mass-produced,
Right.
and by placing it in a different context, forced us to see it in a new light.
Exactly.
It makes you think about the stuff you see every day. Could any of it be considered art if someone framed it or put it in a gallery?
Warhol challenged us to question the boundaries between art and everyday life,
Yeah.
and whether the value we place on objects is inherent or constructed.
So we've seen how these artists push the boundaries of what art could be.
From invisible zones to canned poop.
To mass-produced boxes.
Hmm.
But they didn't achieve this in a vacuum, right?
Not at all.
There are powerful networks at play in the art world that influence how we perceive and value art.
Absolutely. Galleries, auction houses, and even the media play a significant role.
Okay, let's start with galleries. How much does the reputation of a gallery, like Gagosian, which represents Cattelan, contribute to the value of an artist's work?
It's undeniably influential. Gagosian is one of the most prestigious galleries in the world. When they represent an artist, it's like a stamp of approval, a guarantee of quality and marketability.
Okay, but is that a good thing? I mean, does a gallery's approval really make something art?
It's a complex issue. On the one hand, galleries play a crucial role in supporting artists
Yeah.
and bringing their work to a wider audience.
Right.
They have the expertise and the networks to promote and sell art effectively.
Okay.
But it's also true that their choices can influence taste
Right.
and create a hierarchy within the art world.
So as a double-edged sword, galleries can both elevate and limit the reach of art?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about auction houses? How do they fit into this picture?
Auction houses like Sotheby's, where Comedian was sold, meticulously curate their auctions, selecting pieces that are likely to generate buzz and high bids. When they choose to include a piece in their auction, it's like an endorsement,
Right.
adding another layer of legitimacy and value to the artwork.
So Sotheby's selling the banana isn't just a transaction, it's a statement about its worth. It's almost like a feedback loop. The more valuable the auction house makes it seem, the more valuable it actually becomes.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the media's role in all of this. How much does media attention influence the value of art?
The media plays a massive role, especially in today's digital age,
Uh,
where news and images can go viral in an instant.
right.
Think about Banksy's Love is in the Bin,
Oh, yeah.
the painting that shredded itself right after it sold at auction.
That was crazy.
That event created a media frenzy.
Totally.
And guess what? It actually increased the painting's value,
Like a publicity stunt that worked brilliantly.
even if it was unintentional.
Yeah. So the more attention an artwork receives, the more valuable it becomes, regardless of its artistic merit.
That's the cynical view, yes.
Okay.
It's certainly true that media attention can create hype and drive up prices,
Right.
but it can also introduce new audiences to art and spark important conversations about its meaning and value. It's a complex relationship.
It seems like we're seeing a shift from art as a physical object to art as an idea or concept.
Absolutely.
How does that impact our understanding of ownership, especially with something like Comedian, where the buyer gets a certificate and instructions instead of the actual banana?
That's a crucial question, especially with the rise of digital art and NFTs. The buyer of Comedian didn't purchase a particular banana or piece of tape.
Huh.
They acquired the certificate of authenticity, the legal right to recreate the work. It's about owning the concept,
Okay.
the artist's intent, and the right to reproduce it.
So the certificate becomes the artwork itself in a way.
It's like owning the blueprint or the recipe rather than the finished product. This reminds me of the whole NFT craze where people are buying digital tokens that represent ownership of digital artworks. It's all about authentication and provenance, even when there's no physical object involved.
Exactly. It's a fascinating shift in how we think about ownership and value. It begs the question, what happens to art when it becomes more about intellectual property than physicality?
Right.
It's a question that Comedian forces us to confront.
Definitely.
But there's another layer to this piece that I find intriguing.
Okay.
We've been talking about the banana as a symbol,
Mm-hmm.
but let's not forget that it's also a fruit, something that will eventually rot and decay.
Right.
Cattelan is playing with the idea of impermanence here.
He's challenging the traditional notion that art should be permanent, something to be preserved for centuries. The banana's inevitable decay becomes part of the artwork, a commentary on the fleeting nature of existence itself.
It's like those incredible environmental sculptures by Andy Goldsworthy. He creates intricate works of art using natural materials like leaves, twigs, and ice, knowing they will eventually be reclaimed by nature.
Or Christo Jean-Claude's large-scale installations,
Yes.
which are designed to exist for a limited time and then disappear, leaving only photographs and memories behind.
These artists are reminding us that not everything of value is designed to last forever. Sometimes the beauty lies in the ephemeral,
The transient.
the experience itself rather than the object.
Exactly.
It's a fascinating concept. Does knowing that a piece of art won't last make it more meaningful? Does it change how you value it?
It certainly adds a layer of complexity. It forces us to confront our own mortality
Wow.
and appreciate the present moment.
Okay, let's be real for a second. The $6.2 million price tag for a Comedian isn't just about artistic merit
Right.
or the banana's symbolism. It's also about attention, speculation, and the dynamics of the art market.
Absolutely. Cattelan's work is a masterclass in generating attention.
Headlines like, "A banana duct taped to a wall sold for $6 million are guaranteed to grab eyeballs."
And spark debate.
And that attention has value in itself. It can be leveraged for marketing, branding, and even social commentary.
We saw this with the buyer of Comedian, a crypto entrepreneur who used the purchase to generate publicity for their business. It's a reminder that the art world is intertwined with economics, marketing, and social trends.
So it's not just about the art itself, but about the story surrounding it, the conversations it sparks, and the attention it generates.
And that's part of what makes the art world so fascinating.
And complex,
A giant puzzle.
with interconnected pieces.
Mm-hmm.
The artist, the artwork, the gallery, the auction house, the media, the buyer, and the cultural context. Each element influences the others, creating a dynamic and ever-changing landscape.
And navigating that landscape requires critical thinking, a willingness to question assumptions, and a deep appreciation for the power of ideas.
It's a journey of discovery,
For sure.
and Comedian serves as a provocative reminder that there's always more to see, to question, and to understand.
Absolutely. Comedian really highlights how art can be a powerful form of social commentary, even when it's disguised as something seemingly absurd.
It definitely throws a lot of questions back at us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It makes us reconsider what we value,
Mm.
the influence of these powerful networks,
Right.
the meaning of ownership in a digital age,
Yeah,
and even how the simplest things like a banana can carry so much weight.
it's true.
But let's go back to this idea of art as an idea, as a concept. How do we make sure art stays accessible and meaningful to everyone if it's becoming less about tangible objects and more about intellectual property?
That's a vital question, especially considering that not everyone has equal access to information.
Right.
And the art world's inner circles.
Yeah.
If art becomes increasingly conceptual, how do we ensure it doesn't become exclusive to a select few who understand the complexities of the art market? We need to find ways to democratize art to make it more inclusive and relevant to a broader audience.
I'm thinking about new technology and the role it could play.
Oh, okay.
We're seeing virtual galleries popping up,
Right.
augmented reality experiences that bring art to life, and social media platforms that allow artists to connect directly with their fans.
Yeah.
Could these be ways to break down those barriers and make art more accessible?
Those are definitely steps in the right direction, but technology can also create new challenges. We need to be mindful of digital divides and ensure that these new platforms don't unintentionally exclude those who lack access or digital literacy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a balancing act.
Right.
We need to embrace innovation while also considering its potential impact on inclusivity and accessibility.
So how do we find that balance? How do we democratize art without sacrificing its integrity or creating new barriers?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
I think part of the solution lies in education and fostering a deeper understanding of art and its various forms.
Okay.
We need to encourage critical thinking, visual literacy, and open-mindedness so that people can engage with art on a deeper level, regardless of its medium or market value.
It's about shifting the focus from ownership and exclusivity to appreciation and engagement.
Exactly.
Speaking of engagement, let's go back to Comedian for a moment.
Yeah.
That piece certainly got people talking.
It did.
It generated headlines, sparked debates on social media, and even became a meme.
It was everywhere.
Is that level of attention a good thing for art? Is it possible that the art world is becoming too reliant on hype and spectacle?
It's a legitimate concern. While attention can be beneficial, bringing new audiences to art and sparking conversations, it can also overshadow the art itself.
Why?
We need to be mindful of the balance between attention and substance, between hype and genuine artistic merit.
It's like anything else. Too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
That's true.
So how do we as viewers and consumers of art discern between genuine artistic expression and a carefully orchestrated publicity stunt?
That's where critical thinking comes in.
Okay.
We need to look beyond the headlines and the market value
Right.
and ask ourselves, what is the artist trying to communicate? What are the underlying ideas and concepts? How does this artwork connect to broader cultural and historical contexts?
It's about engaging with art on a deeper level,
Yes.
asking questions, and forming our own opinions rather than simply accepting what the market or the media tells us.
Precisely. It's about cultivating an informed and discerning eye, a sense of curiosity, and a willingness to challenge our own assumptions.
But let's not forget that art is also subjective and personal.
Right.
What speaks to one person might not resonate with another,
Of course.
and that's okay. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to appreciating art.
Absolutely. The beauty of art lies in its ability to evoke a wide range of emotions,
Yeah,
interpretations, and responses.
it's a reflection of our own unique experience.
Perspectives. And that's what makes engaging with art so enriching and rewarding.
Yeah, I agree.
It allows us to connect with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us in meaningful and unexpected ways.
Speaking of connections, Comedian also touches on the theme of global trade and its often hidden consequences.
Oh, that's interesting.
We usually see the banana as a simple everyday fruit,
Right.
but it also carries a lot of historical and political baggage.
You're right. The banana is a potent symbol of global trade, often associated with exploitation, colonialism, and economic inequality.
So Cattelan's seemingly simple choice of object adds another layer of complexity to the artwork.
And
It's a reminder that even the most mundane things can have profound implications.
it encourages us to look beyond the surface and consider the interconnectedness of our world,
Yeah.
the systems that shape our lives, and the impact of our choices.
It's about recognizing that art can be a powerful tool for social commentary and awareness raising, even when it's disguised as something humorous or absurd.
And that's the brilliance of Comedian.
Right.
It operates on multiple levels, inviting us to laugh, to think, to question, and to engage with complex issues.
It's a reminder that art can be both entertaining and thought-provoking.
Accessible and challenging.
And that's what makes it such a vital part of the human experience.
It's a testament to the enduring power of art to spark conversation, to challenge norms,
Yeah.
and to inspire us to see the world in new and unexpected ways.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
You sent us articles about Comedian, that $6.2 million banana,
Yeah,
and it's really made us think about the big picture of art, value, and how it all works.
absolutely.
What are some key takeaways you think our listeners should walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is that art is no longer bound by traditional definitions.
Right.
It's not just about painting, sculpture, or physical objects. It's about the idea, the concept, the message the artist is trying to convey. Comedian really drives that point home.
Right. And that shift from object to concept has huge implications.
It does.
It changes how we value art, how we collect it, and how we experience it. We can't just look at the surface anymore.
No.
We have to dig deeper, consider the context, the artist's intention, and the bigger conversations it's trying to spark.
Exact.
And let's not forget the influence of those powerful networks we discussed.
The galleries, the auction houses, the media.
Yeah. They play a significant role in shaping our perception of art and its value. Sometimes it feels like they hold all the cards, doesn't it?
It's true. They have a lot of influence.
It definitely raises some questions about who gets to decide what's considered good art and how those decisions are made. It's a bit like the Wizard of Oz, pulling levers behind the curtain.
Right. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes.
But hey, maybe that's part of the intrigue.
Perhaps. The art world has always been a mix of creativity, commerce, and social dynamics. It's a constantly evolving ecosystem. But one thing is clear. In today's digital age, attention is currency.
Yeah.
The more buzz an artwork generates, the more valuable it becomes.
We saw that with Comedian.
Absolutely.
It went viral, sparked countless memes, and everyone was talking about it, whether they loved it or hated it. That attention translated into real dollars, proving that hype can be as valuable as artistic merit.
It's a double-edged sword, of course. Attention can bring new audiences to art and fuel important conversations. But it also raises concerns about whether we're focusing too much on spectacle and not enough on substance.
So how do we navigate this new landscape where attention is king? How do we separate the hype from the true artistic value?
I think it comes down to developing our own critical thinking skills. We need to look beyond the headlines, the market value, and the social media frenzy. Ask yourself, what is the artist trying to say? What are the underlying ideas and concepts? How does this work make me feel?
It's about engaging with art on a deeper level, asking questions, forming our own opinions, and not being afraid to challenge the status quo, just like Cattelan did with his banana.
Exactly. Comedian is a reminder that art should provoke thought, challenge assumptions, and spark conversation. It's not meant to be passive. It's meant to engage us, make us think critically, and maybe even question the world around us.
So to our listeners out there, what did you think of Comedian? Did it make you laugh? Did it make you angry? Did it make you rethink your entire understanding of art? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Head over to our website and share your reactions.
And if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity about the artists and movements we've discussed today, we encourage you to explore their work further. You can find links to their biographies, artwork images, and even some video interviews in our show notes.
Don't be afraid to dive down the rabbit hole. Art history is full of fascinating stories, rebellious spirits, and mind-bending ideas that are still relevant today.
The art world is constantly evolving. New movements emerge, technologies disrupt the status quo, and artists continue to push boundaries. It's an exciting time to be engaged with art, and we hope you'll join us as we continue to explore its ever-changing landscape.
Thanks for joining Next T Art. We hope you enjoyed today's insights. Remember to subscribe and share. Until next time, let's keep exploring art's future.